Although Nick only hit the sheep's rear end, he didn't want to take a second shot. He knew the wounded antelope wouldn't get far, and Nick thoroughly enjoyed the thrill of tracking his prey. After picking up the shell casing from the ground, he followed at a leisurely pace. But when he reached the spot where the antelope had been hit, he discovered blood that didn't belong to the antelope. Through his binoculars, Nick spotted an injured dog. This made Nick realize there must have been a shootout nearby. Drawing on his hunter's experience, he headed in the opposite direction from the dog. Before long, Nick found several vehicles parked at the foot of the mountain. Clearly, there had just been an intense firefight here. After checking the truck bed, Nick discovered it was loaded with contraband. Obviously, this had been a deal. Since the goods were still at the scene, the payment money must still be there too. Nick tracked the footprints on the ground. Soon he spotted someone sitting under a tree in the distance. When he got closer, he realized the person was already dead. Curious, Nick opened the case beside the man and found it contained $5 million. Although Nick realized this money could bring disaster upon him, he took it home anyway, hoping to change his life. But for his family's safety, he immediately arranged for his wife to stay at her mother's place. Then, taking the case of cash, he checked into a motel. For his own safety, he deliberately hid the case in room 137, then booked room 138 to stay in. Little did he know that this decision would save his life. Because at that moment, the hitman Anton had already tracked Nick to room 137 using a tracker placed in the case. When everyone had let their guard down at night, Anton came to room 137 with his weapon. After shooting the lock open, Anton fired into the room. However, Anton couldn't find any trace of the case. What he didn't know was that the case had already been pulled into the next room by Nick through the ventilation duct. When Anton saw the scratches in the ventilation duct, he realized this target wouldn't be easy to deal with. Soon after, Nick had moved to another motel. But as Nick lay in bed that night, he felt something was off. The killer always seemed to track his location easily. To confirm his suspicion, he quickly opened the case of cash and searched carefully. Finally, he found a tracking device among the bills. From the frequency of the blinking red light, he could tell that the hitman Anton had already arrived nearby.